Hi. So we're about halfway through Pride Month. Ever since basically the end of May, I've really wanted to do like a video talking a bit about, pride and sexuality and stuff, but I've been finding it oddly difficult. Brings up a lot of emotion, and I like many people have had quite a complicated relationship with my sexuality. When I was 14, I was out on a date with my first ever boyfriend, and a group of girls surrounded us and beat me up and screamed a bunch of homophobic abuse at me. This happened several more times in my early teens, and that combined with the sort of general homophobia of society at the time really pushed me to suppress my sexuality. I tried being bi for a bit in my mid-teens because I felt kind of safe to do so in the drama group that I was part of. And that was okay for a bit, but then all the people I felt safest with went away to college or uni or whatever, and I just suppressed the hell out of that side of myself. I would get pissed every weekend and shag a different guy, and I think part of me hoped I would find some magic man that would make me not fancy girls anymore. I finally accepted that I like women in my later 20s. Took me a long time to accept that, but still have to deal with quite a lot of internalized homophobia. I first shaved my head at the end of my teens, and I left it like that for a really long time because I really, really liked it. Even when I was just sort of casually seeing some women, I left it like that. But once I got together with a woman that would become my wife, once we were in like an official relationship, I started growing it out because, and I'm not proud of feeling this way, because I didn't want people to look at me and go, oh, there goes a dyke, And that internalized homophobia isn't just internal, Again, I don't feel proud of this, but I feel often quite uncomfortable when I see gay lesbian couples on TV or whatever. I still feel quite judgmental and embarrassed by women I consider to be kind of stereotypes, which is pretty shitty and judgmental of me, let's face it. And it's something I'm still trying to work on all the time. I'm really, it's one of the funny side effects of getting my autism diagnosis was it forced a bunch of self-reflection and, been kind of realising how much of that homophobia I still carry within myself. When I was a teenager, there was a show called Brookside. It was a soap opera on Channel 4, and they were going to show the first ever lesbian kiss on primetime TV. And obviously Channel 4, they announced this several weeks beforehand to whip up interest and viewers and stuff. But all I can remember is people discussing it like it was one of the worst things that could possibly happen to a society. Two girls kissing, my God, think of the children, And then you watched it, and it was like the most chaste kiss in the world. It's not like they were getting down and dirty on primetime TV. It was just a wee kiss. But it was seen as such a big deal. It was sinful and wrong and evil. And when I was at school, there was a thing called Section 28, or Clause 28, that meant teachers were prohibited from even mentioning anything to do with LGBT plus life. Not unlike the don't say gay laws that are kind of coming in now in the States. And I had no, role models growing up. The only gay folk I was really aware of was Julian Clary and the guys from the Pet Shop Boys. Although that came later. When I first heard Go West, I genuinely thought it was a song about wanting to live somewhere where it's sunny in the winter. Growing up in Shetland will do that to you. But yeah, I didn't see anyone like me, really, in the media until Nanette by Hannah Gadsby. I'm sure I could have seen my story elsewhere in serious, miserable, grimdark dramas, but I don't want to see that. I want to see my story in the media that I like, in comedy and sci-fi and stuff. Sci-fi's generally been a bit better for these things, but, even Star Trek was pretty bloody homophobic right up until recently. And yeah, the first time I really saw my story was a few years ago when I watched Nanette by Hannah Gadsby, and it was hilarious, don't get me wrong, but I also sobbed pretty much the whole way through it, because for the first time in my life I was seeing someone sharing a story that I could relate to. But she can't be my role model. We're basically the same bloody age. Can't look up to someone 18 months older than you, because when you were born they were barely learning to walk. But yeah, like I say, getting the autism diagnosis really helped me with a lot of self-reflection, and a part of that has been about reflecting on my experiences with my sexuality and how I feel about it, and I'm so lucky, things have really, really improved in Scotland in the last 25, 30 years. And so I kind of partly feel ashamed of having a moan, because, things were pretty rough for a bit, but it's a lot better now, and there are people all over the world right here and now in this moment suffering because of bigotry, because there are people who genuinely think that who you fancy means you're a bad person or a sinful person or a wrong person. I mean, how do you grow up to have any sense of self-worth when those are the messages that you're surrounded by? However unintentionally. I'm really lucky. My parents were always incredibly open and accepting of absolutely everybody. I remember asking them once if they would kick someone out of the house if they found out they were gay. And they were like, no, we'd be much more likely to kick someone out for being homophobic. Yeah. So, I'm really lucky in a lot of ways. But I still have all this self-hate, self-loathing, self-doubt inside of me. It's getting better, though, being able to cut my hair and not care if people think I'm a stereotype or whatever. But this stuff right here, as well as, situations all over the world, that's why we still really need pride. That's why pride is so important. Being able to go to a place where folk are actively celebrating being different, or being other. You go and you see folk like you. It's amazing. Especially, these days I see so many young queer couples, and oh god, I definitely have a lot of envy. But I also just feel so bloody happy for them. I'm so grateful that they're getting to grow up in a slightly better environment than I did, hopefully. It's not true for all of them, of course. There's still a lot of bigotry and stuff in this country, but things are getting better, thankfully. I guess that doesn't really super duper help me undo all the negative lessons and programming I've learned over the years, but that's something I have to do for myself, I guess. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of share some of that. So yeah, to everyone, all my queer family all over the world, happy Pride and all the best.